Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the Holy Fire Hangout, where today we're going to talk about intention. My name is Will Mitchell. I'm a Reiki Master Teacher from Rochester, New York, and I specialize in Usui, Holy Fire Reiki. Today in the room we have Dan, Michelle, Sean, Valerie, and Wendy. So the format for today is we'll do an overview of Reiki, talk about the Reiki ideals, Holy Fire Reiki, and we'll talk about the three heavens. What's the difference between meditation and a Holy Fire meditation experience? And then we'll have a discussion about intention. What is it? How powerful is it? And we'll do a 10-minute Holy Fire meditation experience. And then we can further the discussion if you'd like. So Val, that looks really good there. Val's got some sacred space.
I don't know
Put
if
a
you can
candle in.
see, I have angels and different stones that I consider to be special and sacred.
Nice. Feels really good. And there's a nice big chunk of something over to your left. What's that?
This is fluorite, and this is the center of a big, pretty big find that some friends of mine found. And we've bought almost every piece out of it. It's really powerful stone. In fact, Brian's son noticed this. Well, I asked him about it actually, and he said it has an aura of green and yellow, and that it's very powerful, and that I should take very good care of it. So it sits right here where it's taken very good care of.
Very nice.
Yeah,
that's a very clear fluorite.
It is very clear. That's, like I say, it's the center. So some of the pieces surrounding it are more green and cloudy. But it absorbs negative energy for me, and I absolutely love it.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks, Valerie.
Oh, you're welcome.
So Reiki. Reiki is a Japanese relaxation technique that also promotes healing. It's made up of the two Japanese words rei and ki, where rei means divine or universal, and ki means energy or life force energy. So Reiki means universal life force energy. When Mikao Usui rediscovered Reiki in the 1920s, he gave us the Reiki ideals. He called it the secret art of inviting happiness, the miraculous medicine for all diseases. Just for today, do not anger, do not worry, and be filled with gratitude. Devote yourself to your work and be kind to people. Now, the Holy Fire is that burning in your heart. It's your connection to your highest level of excitement. It's your connection to everything. It's this and much, much more. Now, Holy Fire Reiki is an evolution in Reiki. It's fairly recent. It's both powerful and gentle, as well as provides purification, healing, empowerment, and guidance. Holy Fire Reiki is noticeably more refined and comes from a higher level of consciousness. It is unlimited. Now, in Holy Fire Reiki, we teach of the three heavens. In the first heaven, that's where we live, our three-dimensional universe. It's the people in it. It's Mother Earth. It's the planets. It's the air we breathe. It's the animals. It's the plants. Second heaven is everything non-physical, dualistic, and ego-based. Third heaven is beyond ego and clear expressions of God's unlimited love, awareness, and power. He always respects free will. Now I've noticed there's a difference between meditation and a Holy Fire meditation experience. In meditation, I was given a mantra and asked to focus on my breathing. And when a stray thought comes in my mind, like going to the grocery store, or what I'm going to have for dinner, or when am I going to get my laundry done, things like that, that simply acknowledge the thought and return my attention back to the mantra and my breathing. With the Holy Fire meditation experience, we use visualizations, and when a stray thought comes in, same thing happens. Acknowledge the stray thought and then return your attention to the visualization. Now, if a thought comes in that's not one of those stray thoughts, it's not like, what am I going to make for dinner? What's on my to-do list? When am I going to do my laundry? That's the Holy Fire talking to you, and I've learned to run with that. Allow the Holy Fire to take you on a journey. So now intention. What is intention? So what I did, besides my belief that this is an intention-based universe, I went to the dictionary. Because if you're trying to think about what is intention, it's interesting that every dictionary gave a non-answer. It was really funny. So one said it's an act or instance of determining mentally upon some action or result. Okay, I buy that. What one intends to do or bring about. Okay, that's simple enough. A determination to act in a certain way, and some call it resolve. And it's also a concept considered as the product of attention directed to an object of knowledge. Yeah, I don't know what that one means. Importance or significance. And in law, it is the resolve or design with which a person does or refrains from doing an act, a necessary ingredient of certain offenses. To me, that's more important. It's just like, did you really have your mind set on stealing that or doing the wrong? And we have some synonyms, that there's purpose, goal, end, aim, object, objective. And these nouns refer to what one plans to do or achieve. And another dictionary said that intention simply signifies a course of action that one proposes to follow. It is my intention to work for a year and then go back to school. Okay, those are simple. And intent more strongly implies deliberateness. So now I'd like to open up the microphone and get everyone else's viewpoint of intention. And welcome, Maria. Don't all speak at once.
Well, hi, Will. This is Wendy. I feel like my idea of intention is the actual mechanism of creation. That
awesome.
Creation is indeed a manifestation of intention. And that energy equals matter. Energy can become matter and does become matter based solely upon our intention.
Absolutely. I agree 100% with that. Thank you for jumping right to it. Anyone else?
I just want to say that I think intention, your own intention, can change your life. It can inspire you at the same time pushing you forwards. I dearly love intention. If we all had intention to everything we do, I believe there would be no war. Because who has intention to really go kill another person? I mean, sure, they're going to shoot back if they're being shot at. But is the intention to go there to do exactly that? I think not.
Thank you, Valerie.
Hi, everyone. Just want to say hello.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, Maria.
How y'all doing?
Great.
Okay, to me, I just want to say intention, regardless of the result of your action is, intention is everything. That all it matters. I mean, not that your action doesn't matter, but intention is much more important than the action itself.
I
Very
agree with that,
interesting.
Maria. Like, that definitely goes along with what I was just saying, that the person going over to fight a war, their intention is to protect their loved ones at home. Their intentions aren't to do what they really do over there. So yes, their intentions make them honorable. Whereas if we thought of them as, murderers, of course that wouldn't be honorable. But their intentions are what make it so honorable.
Thank you, Valerie.
I'm being reminded that the body go where intention flows, or a life will go where intention flows. We go there in the mind first, and then after we go there in the mind, once we give it our permission, then we go there in the body. So intention is a word that we use to describe kind of like this action. It's an action. It's not an inaction. Anyway, that's all I have on that for right at the minute.
So Dan, how does that process work? Besides just it's an awesome saying, what you said in your mind.
Yeah, the intentions of your mind. So, what's an intention? A preference, perhaps? You prefer a certain thing, you aim yourself a certain way, you maybe guide or be guided a certain way, and then, your intention, to aim yourself a direction, preferences, help aim you in directions. You kind of go where that intention flows. How does it work exactly? I'm not exactly certain. It's one of those really neat things. It's really simple, honestly. When you look at it, it's really simple, but to describe it with like human words, it's not so simple. Too many words. But is it a mechanism? Or is it a word we use for a mechanism and we maybe do not completely clearly understand it? But it's not all that difficult. I mean, we do it by default. We don't even have to intention it. It is built in. There's a certain amount of intentioned well-being that's built in. We have an inherent well-being, perhaps a higher intention, perhaps, or whatever you want to get into on that. But very simple thing, very difficult to describe.
I was going to say that I think you're right, Dan. It can be a verb, but it also can be a noun. It can be an action, but it can also be an inaction. Because you can say, well, I intended to go to your house, but I ran out of time. So even though your intentions were there, your body really didn't go behind the intentions. It's like your mind was the verb of it, but your body didn't do the action that would have made it a verb, so then it's a noun. If that makes sense.
So I wanted to talk about what I learned about intention this year from Matt Kahn specifically. He does a video specifically on intention, which blew my mind. And the idea behind it is that I, with the power and my imagination in my mind, because everything, say the frame of a picture, we call it a frame. That is an object, and we give meaning to it. A rock, that is the sound we give to give meaning to something we all agree is a rock. He said, but since we decide as people what a thing is to be called, why should that be limited? He basically was giving permission to be limitless with the intention. So every bite of food I chew during my lunch, the oceans cleanse themselves. Or every step I take today, a person who was lame walks, or 10,000 people walk, or, I've done this a lot, and it's interesting. Sometimes, well, I do a daily intention. Everything that passes at me, from me, to me, or through me be of the highest vibration. Anything of a lower vibration be transmuted into love and light. Also, sometimes I will just want to send love to Mother Gaia. I might want to clean up pollution. So every breath I take that day, I intend that every breath I take that day be about that. And it's very funny, he says in his thing, who the hell are you to do that? Well, I'm God, just like you're God. And if I decide this, my intention means this, then it is. That's all I'll share.
Exactly.
Okay, guys, then where does depression come from in these intentions? I just must ask. Does anyone have any
Fear.
thoughts?
And it's funny you said that you just mentioned that about that specific thing, because I was actually going to address that side of intention, in that all of us really, I think, until we become aware that we really do create our own reality based upon our intention, there's that point when even after we know that, let me clarify, in my own experience, even after I know that, yet we still, as humans, will sit back and say, I did not intend that, yet I created it. Yet that's simply impossible. It's difficult to take the responsibility for that, but once you do, not only is it's freeing, but it's also very empowering. So when we say, okay, here's a creation here's a reflection of a creation I don't prefer, I could not possibly have created that because I didn't intend that. However, and this goes in line with depression in some ways, in that the focus, intention is focus. So if your core vibration, even if you're not aware of it, if your core vibration is focusing in fear or lack, or in any way anything less than the true divine being you are, it creates the reality to show you that. To show you you've created a reality based on something that isn't a conscious intention. And once you become aware that you are capable of creating a reality in which you've created unintentionally by focusing in a way that's not conscious, you begin to become aware of that, and then you begin becoming aware of the now, always being aware of the now, and intending to know now that that is now you're consciously intending how you like it was Michelle was just saying about the or Val, excuse me, about the intending to wake up every day to say every breath I take will cleanse, cleanse the air, cleanse the sky. Once it becomes focused attention, the creation becomes the creation you do desire. And your past now becomes, this now becomes your past, and your future is based on your intention.
And so
Hello,
we're also
Sarah.
manifesting, right? We're also manifesting at the same time.
Right, exactly. So you're constantly manifesting, and that's the whole idea. I think even Abraham Hicks goes to that, that idea that and Bashar, you're constantly manifesting something. So therefore, if you're reflecting back to you as a manifestation of something you don't desire, we have to take responsibility for the fact that we did indeed create it, whether or not we focused on, whether we not consciously intended to create it or not. That reflection is what tells us that. It tells us that. It tells us, wow, look at what I did. I created something I didn't mean to, based upon fears and beliefs that really aren't mine, floating around there somewhere that I need to get rid of so that I can start consciously manifesting, consciously intending, consciously focusing on the visualization of the desire, the visualization of the materialization of my desires that I do prefer.
Yep. Like, don't ever let that idea get away from you. Like a child that wants a toy so bad. Eventually they end up getting it because their intention has spread.
That's a pretty
to the
funny
parents
example too
so
of
heavily.
manifestation, but it's true
I'm
though,
saying,
isn't it?
it's the truth.
He
And
figures out
I
pretty
can
early.
remember doing this myself as a teenager. Like we didn't have a lot of money, and I was going to wear a hand-me-down dress for my 8th grade graduation. And I thought I was okay with it, but then I went shopping and seeing some of the dresses that were out there, and I was realizing then how outdated that this dress was. And so in my mind, I had came up with the perfect dress for me, which I didn't ever not wear Levi's, so it had to have the jean material in it. And lo and behold, come my graduation day, there it was. The dress I had manifested, not seen, was there in my living room.
Nice.
I had found it and bought it, and I think again my intention just became so thick. This thought just didn't leave my mind. It was constantly there that I wanted a different dress and the dress I wanted, and I do believe completely that that can be manifested. And I think in adulthood we get busy and we forget about some of these things that we're able to do that. And joining this group has made it come forward in my mind once again that yes, we do have these abilities, and I've seen it work more than once in my life. So that manifesting that intention, just keep it forefront all the time, no matter what you're doing, keep it in your mind. And I believe that that will happen exactly that way. It's awesome, Will.
It is. It's totally awesome. Thank you so much. That conversation went so well. Welcome, Sarah. Welcome, Johannes. Time for some water for me.
Thank you for being here.
Hello, everyone.
So, Johannes. Go ahead, Sarah.
I just wanted to say hello.
Love it that you're here, Sarah.
Well, speaking of intentions, Sarah, you
Yes.
have a lot to say. You intended to go to Ireland, and there you are.
I was just going to say, if anybody can talk about intentions, it's Sarah.
Yeah, it's interesting because at the moment I'm in England, and
Yeah, and just hey, Sarah, when was it? Only a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we were just discussing about manifesting your ability to even get to England from Ireland.
Wonderful, yes.
And here you are.
Yes.
And may I add that we all intended to get her there. as well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
the
Yes,
combined
we did.
intentions really can help too.
that's wonderful. Thank you guys, everyone, for helping out and giving me that positive energy and love and intention to make my way to all these places. And every once in a while you have to bring yourself back and hear these things about intention and about manifestation because sometimes you can forget with all the craziness going on around you. I'm telling you. But you set your intention and you don't worry about all the knickknacks and the details so much. You just allow it to unfold for yourself.
Actually, I'm glad you
Yep.
said that, Sarah, because really, that is exactly what creates the resistance. We aren't supposed to know how, why, when, what am I going to do? Our job is to intend it, visualize it, and let it go, and know it's done.
Yes, I always say, let go and let God.
Well, exactly. That's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you.
And
Johannes,
combined intention, yes. I do want to just make a note of that, or that idea of the combined intention, and to thank Will live, because as many of you know, a couple weeks ago, my own mom attended her very first holy fire meditation, and it's interesting because then shortly thereafter, she had been suffering some, medical issues, and her reality was created a situation that became a life-threatening situation very rapidly. And but the idea here is that the combined intentions of everyone, with her healing in mind, but it wasn't just the healing. And this is what she wanted me to reiterate, and that I wanted to reiterate to everybody, is that the original intention was for her to believe she could heal herself and to understand that she has that power. That's what she went into that with last week. When it became a life-threatening situation, her intention kicked in like never before, but it was the combined intention, too, of knowing that every message I read to her, from everyone, every drawing, every sentiment, knowing that there was a combined energy behind it, gave herself the power to discover her own power. So it wasn't just the idea of believing in the combined energy and intention of all of us, but it was the idea that combined energy gave herself the energy to find her own light. And that's really, I think, what this is all about with all of us, and what we're here to do with everyone is and as healers, we're all healers in this room. So we're here to raise the vibration of others so they to discover their own light, their own healing abilities. And knowing that we're not healing you, we're helping you discover your own healing. That's what we're here to bring the light, to illuminate in everyone else's intentions, is that they understand that their intention is their power, is their light, is their birth right, and now they're here to remember how powerful they are.
Can I
well
just add
said.
that I honestly think that the reason why I found this whole group was for that healing. And my intention was to find that for myself. And I found this group, and I couldn't be happier. I absolutely love Reiki,
That
the
I'm so
things it
glad
can
you said
do.
that. That's a perfect example of unintentional creation, because
Yeah,
we found each other because even though we weren't saying it out loud necessarily, our hearts were in this vibration of intention of finding like-minded souls, and our family, our soul family, and our healing families. And even if we didn't know we were asking for that, our vibration was asking for that. So that's kind of almost a good example of unintentional intention manifesting itself in a beautiful way.
Yes, exactly. And then finding my way to Reiki. And I mean, honestly, I've had so many people throughout my life tell me from the first time they've met me that I am a healer. And now, through Reiki, I've been able to discover that. And I couldn't be happier. I mean, I've been able to manifest exactly what I intended. I intended to find out what kind of healing that they meant. And now I know. It's a wonderful feeling, and life is just amazing. And I can't be happier. So thank each and every one of you so much for every part that you've all played, because every single one of you have, with your intent, helped me. And I hope that I have something that can help you too.
Of course you do.
Thank you.
Very
My
beautiful,
computer's doing
Valerie.
funky things.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So I've been taking notes here on certain things that people have said that I think are really important. I heard that creation happens whether one intends it or not. And I totally agree that the creation or manifestation, to me, creation is a continual process. We can't help but create because we are creators. And it was interesting, my mom always used to say that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I think that's interesting because even though you set your intentions what you believe as properly, the outcome doesn't turn out the way you planned sometimes. And so how do you more influence that creation process is a question that I then have. Dan mentioned aim, that intention could also mean aim, and that brings me back to one retreat that I went on, let's call it a retreat, that the speaker was talking about sin. And in Spanish, sin, S-I-N, means without. And the speaker was talking about sin, that it derived from, or it means without aim, or aiming at the wrong thing, or missing the target, which to me was interesting. Because now if you came from a religious background and you think about sin, then that goes with intent. Is your intent not being sinful? Is, oh, I'm aiming at what somebody else defined as good and I'm hitting the mark. And so then sin would be, I'm not hitting that mark that everybody else defined as good, whether I'm intending to aim for it or not, which I think is interesting. So with creation, when creation happens whether one intends it or not, that goes with how does creation or manifestation really work? And I believe that manifestation and creation start with the mental body. Whether it's your conscious mental body or your subconscious, our belief systems are also causing us to manifest through our emotional body. So although it triggers in the mental body, we control it with our emotional body. Because if you want to intend to manifest something, that a higher vibration in your emotional body causes the manifestations to happen quicker, more readily. So if you're vibrating at love or joy or peace, which is the ultimate, you're in balance, then you can manifest what you truly desire. And since you don't have any attachment to it, when it does come, it's not a surprise. And when it doesn't come, it's not a surprise or not a big deal because it's not affecting your emotional body. Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
I'll jump in here if I can. I will talk about an idea of being manifesting food, for example. We take that, for example. I'm doing that. I've done that for a long time. And it's been hitting me since not too long ago, but it came to me when I was having a lot of orders and it was a lot of things going on at that time also. But then because I was still spiritually trying to grow at that time and trying to, even though things were like physically heavy and my, knees hurt, and I had long days, 12-hour, 12-hour days of work and for many days of the week. So, but consider all that, I was still wanting to grow spiritually because I found that out years before about spirituality. So I like to mix it. So then we come to that aspect of when I'm in the kitchen and I want to be balanced, because that is what spirituality is to me. You're finding different things, but you're still have to find a balance within all those different things. So even though you have put yourself in a life situation because you have made many choices to get where you are, it's not just that you appear where you are all of a sudden. Your choices have made you where you are today. For example, at this hangout, we take that for example. You have taken choices to get here. So all these choices, you're in a situation where, in my case, I'm in a kitchen. I have put myself there. I'm working with it, and I like it. I love it. So if I love something and I do it with love, balancing out with all the work that I have around it, and all the emotions circulating around what I have to actually physically do. It is heavy. It is sometimes heavy to just get up and get the remote control. It depends on what day, what you have been eating and all that kind of stuff. So whatever. But then we come to this point where there comes this encounter with other people. So I'm up in my kitchen, and this waitress, she comes up, and whatever is going on for her downstairs at the restaurant, I don't know, but I've been there myself, so I know that there's a lot of emotions going on there. So I'm aware of that. I'm paying attention to other perspective of where I can put myself into. I'm trying at least, or I'm not trying. I'm doing it. I'm putting myself into situations to actually understand how that perspective can be. So she's coming up with the order. So here comes the encounter. Who am I? How do we do this with each other? What is happening at that moment when she's giving me something that needs to be done? We're all putting ourselves into situations, and all of a sudden something is thrown in your face, and you have to do it to get past. To get through or to get further with whatever you're doing, basically. So I get the order. Hopefully I'm balanced enough to look in her eyes and say, yeah, thank you, I will do it, whatever the order was. And yes, of course. Now, let's say I have orders in front of me already. And this is all in my mind. Everything is in our mind from beginning. So now these orders are coming in. I have some orders already I'm working with. So let's say I'm already multitasking, if we can use that word, which we all are doing all the time. We're multitasking. So I'm multitasking in the kitchen. I get another order. How do I stay balanced? So what I do is trying to stay balanced all day. That's the key of how to stay balanced when the harder times comes. It's like if you have a general balance, then these hits, these waves of life, when they hit you, you're sort of more stable. So I get the order, and I have the orders that I'm already working on. I get a new order, trying to stay balanced. I'm staying balanced. Here we go. So I'm having the orders cooking already, and now I have to think about these other orders, how they will be able to fit into the picture that wasn't before. So I had a picture before what I was cooking, basically. So I have an order, I have it in my mind, like this is gonna go out in 5 minutes. But here comes another order, and all of a sudden I have to rearrange the whole picture. So now there is a risk, there's always a risk. There's always a risk. But if you're able to calm down, let your fears go, and let this picture, this intention of yours, whatever you want to call it, let it have its time. It needs some time. Let's call it time. It needs some moments, and that's basically take a breath. That's what I do. I take a breath. Okay, I step back. That's what I usually feel. If I could explain the feeling, I step back. I was in a moment, but then I take a breath and then I step back. Maybe even 2 steps back.
Sounds like you step back before anxiety grabs a hold of you.
Yeah, being aware of something is really good. Anxiety, we know so here we go. When I get another order, I have to just rearrange my manifestation plan, so to speak, and to stay balanced. I had to be prepared from beginning. I had to prepare a lot of chop up some stuff to not get all that work in one moment. So
I see what you're saying. You're saying that your intention is to be prepared for a busy job, for a busy work night.
Exactly.
So you are prepared for that before it starts by doing your prep work ahead of time. And then when it starts, as each one builds, you just learn to, or you intend to, accept more orders, accept more work, and that keeps you balanced. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you can stay yourself. You can stay with yourself and express different frequencies of life when you know what you have prepared, so to speak. If you know that you're prepared, you're coming prepared, then you feel so safe, and that nothing will if you know that you've done your homework, so to speak, then you're fine. Then you're so fine, and you can rely on that, and you don't have to listen. You can take suggestions of people. I don't say anything about that, but listen to yourself first, and go on your these intuitions comes throughout that day. Johannes, now you have to chop the mushrooms, and then when I'm finished with the mushrooms, then something pops up to my head that I have to do, and then I choose if I do it or not. Sometimes I will do something else, but sometimes it's really good to stay focused with just the intentions that pops up in order, in the order that they come up. And because that's when I've seen and I manifest the most beautiful flow of my life, that's been when I've had this focus, so to speak. So it's a suggestion and it's an idea that I want to share because it's something that came to me under that time. So it's be prepared for what you put yourself into because it is your choice. Thank you. Namaste.
Thanks, Johanna.
Thank you, Hannes.
Thanks, Johannes.
Totally awesome. So I heard a lot about intention without talking about intention, which was awesome. Is everyone ready to do a holy fire meditation experience?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Maybe we can ask the holy fire what intention means and what it can do for us. So I'd ask everyone to get comfortable. Take a sip of water if you need. Take a deep breath. Get relaxed. Does not matter whether you sit or lie down, as long as you are comfortable. Breathing and relaxing. Exhale, releasing. Breathing and relaxing. Exhale, releasing. Let's take a moment to invite in some of the non-egoic third heaven energies. Let's start with our heart center. Reach up through our crown chakra, up into the third heaven. Grab some of those non-egoic energies, bring them back through your crown chakra, down into your heart center. Breathing in, relaxing. Exhale, releasing. Let's ground those divine energies with Mother Earth. Let's go through our root chakra and through the bottoms of our feet, growing roots down into Mother Earth, deep, deep, deep down, wrapping those roots around the core and bringing back the spirit of Gaia through our feet, through our root chakras, and back into our heart centers. Mixing those divine energies like the yin and the yang. Breathing and relaxing. Exhale, releasing. Breathing and relaxing. Exhale, releasing. Now let's invite in the holy fire into our hearts. Having the holy fire mix that yin and yang. Mix it up really well. Breathing and relaxing. Exhale, releasing. Breathing and relaxing. And on the next exhale, push out the combined divine energies out into every aspect of your being, in everywhere and every when. Breathing and relaxing. Exhale, releasing. Imagine yourself in a forest. This forest has lush vegetation. The animals and birds are chirping, animals are around. As you look around, you see a path exiting the forest. As you walk out, you walk along the trail, You see a gorgeous meadow. The sun is shining. You walk into this meadow. And you sit wherever you feel most comfortable. It could be in a field of flowers. It could be a field of grass. It could be by a creek. I like it by a creek, nestled in flowers. And as you sit there, you look up in the sky. You see a bright light. This is no ordinary light. This light is from the third heaven. Allow this light to enter your soul. Allow this light to guide you. when you are ready. If you feel you should continue your experience, please do so. If you are ready, slowly bring your attention back to the here and now, to your fingers and toes. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. And slowly bring your attention back to your eyes. Slowly open your eyes when you're ready. And please make notes online, in the journal book, whatever it is. I got quite a lot of information, so Spirit had me come back and said that everybody else was still in it. So take notes. I'm going to go back and finish my notes here. If anyone is ready and would wish to share, please do so.
My grandfather came to tell me that I should contact my grandmother back home in Sweden. So I thank him for the reminder.
Totally cool. Anyone else?
I was reminded that I could use intention to heal some portions of myself that I have been neglecting. So I thought that was mighty neat. So I'm going to do that.
Awesome, Dan. Thank you. Anyone else?
I could go now. What I experienced was sitting alongside the creek, looking up at the light, and receiving a message. Just staying where I was at and telepathically receiving. Intention comes from your heart. It is what you feel inside. Sometimes this can get lost on the way to the brain. I found that very profound because my intention has gotten lost throughout my life on its way to my brain. And I have made some very big mistakes because of that. Maybe not mistakes per se, because of course nothing is really a mistake. But had I followed my intentions completely, things would have turned out differently on just many different levels. So for me, that was a very profound message.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Can you say that one more time? because that was so
Yes.
awesome.
It was intention comes from your heart. It is what you feel inside. Sometimes this can get lost on the way to the brain. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Valerie. Anyone else?
Hi, Will. Yes, it's Wendy. Wow. Wow, what an experience. Talk about intention. I think it was only just yesterday or the day, well, anyway, a couple of days ago, um, someone had asked me something about, I'm very connected to, as you know, to the shamanic way of life and the Native American spirit. And I had an interesting experience. And so they said to me, have you ever thought of just looking up the ones that are around you right in your own, that would have settled in your own backyard? And I was like, duh, how come I never thought of that? Well, interestingly enough, right before or as we went into the meditation, I asked the Holy Fire to come into me. And I asked the Holy Fire to come into me when I'm looking at the sun and when I'm looking at the moonlight. And all of a sudden, I was propelled into another dimension where I was experiencing the life of the Native Americans that lived here where I live. And right here in the very place, in the woods, the cornfields, I saw everything. I saw the towns, I saw the settlements, I saw my families, I saw us canoeing in the Des Plaines River, I saw us blessing the Great Lakes and Lake Michigan, I saw us doing rituals. And the most astounding part of this, as soon as you said, okay, everybody come back and wake up, immediately, as soon as I opened my eyes, I Googled my hometown and what Native American tribe is, and I've posted in the side chat here. You're not going to believe this, Will. It's the Potawatomi Indians, and do you know that their name means keepers of the fire? And they were the Potawatomi were part of a long-term alliance called the Council of Three Fires. And in the Council of the Three Fires, the Potawatomi were considered the youngest brother. This whole thing I just got, Will, in the
Totally
meditation.
awesome. Totally
I saw the
awesome.
whole thing. I can't believe, but this whole thing about the intention was, it was just 2 days ago, I just put the intention in my heart to say, show me this part of me. Show me this heritage of these people that when I'm walking in these woods, talking these languages, who's with me? Who are these Native American family of mine that are walking these woods with me? And that was my intention, and today I got the answer in your meditation, so thank you.
Totally cool. You're welcome. You're very welcome. So I have some homework for you then, Wendy.
I can't believe this Council of Three Fires, and I'm just blown away by this information. Keepers of the Fire.
Yes. Well, I know you're going to do that homework. So that's not what I'm going to do.
Anyway, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
So I would like you to meditate and hopefully get through your galactic languages and whatever. The origins of the Potawatomi people. Who were the galactic seeds for that? And
yeah. Oh, thank you.
Exactly. And
thank you. Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. Oh, thank you. I love that.
Because I think it's gonna make a lot of sense for you.
You know, it's hilarious. You and I wore the same color shirt today. I mean, almost the same shade of blue.
It's so nice of you to show up for your divine appointment on time.
This is so weird. Wow, I'm blown away. I'm
Awesome.
completely
Totally
blown away.
Awesome. So that's an awesome segue too, because next week is 11/11, and I have challenged
Yes.
people to create many, many hangouts on various topics. And Wendy, I believe you mentioned you wanted to create.
Yes, I'm actually going to be. Yeah, I had a little setback last week with the whole family thing with mom and everything, so I'm getting myself back on track. And yes, at 11/11, I'm going to be. The powers that be, the spirits have been asking me to do a shamanic, galactic shamanic blessing, sort of a hangout at 11/11 on 11/11, and so I'll be beginning there, and I'm hoping that everybody will be doing lovely things all day. Will you be also doing a holy fire that day as well? Did you decide what day and I mean at what time?
I have not decided what time. I'm still trying to hook up with on a certain topic with someone, so that
Great.
time is yet to be determined.
Okay.
But it is also a new moon, so Brian
Yes.
and I are going to schedule that. I just need to hear back from him.
Yes, exactly, because it's the new moon as well. So that was part of the message and this particular one is extremely, extremely important for new beginnings, being that it is a new moon on 11/11.
Yes. So what I got out of your meditation, I was wondering if you were going to go to Lake Michigan to do a blessing.
Well, I guess maybe I am now.
To Lake Ontario. I mean, I can go to the easternmost Great Lake.
Oh, wow.
Maybe we can get somebody to go to Lake Erie and do
Ooh.
a blessing, and maybe we can manifest someone going to Lake Superior.
That was really interesting. And for any of you across the planet who don't know, the Great Lakes, they actually comprise a fifth of the fresh water for the entire planet and are an integral part of the freshwater cycle and supply of Gaia. And our Native American and galactic families understood this, and I have a deep appreciation for that as well. So thank you for that idea. That's wonderful. What a beautiful idea. So yeah, if there's anybody up in Canada or up in the northern areas that are anybody who's near any of the Great Lakes, wow, yeah, what a great idea. Because we talk about the oceans a lot, and that's something that we really haven't specifically ever addressed is our freshwater supply. Fresh, clear lake water, unsalinated. It is a jewel of our planet that we must really recognize, appreciate, and show gratitude for. So yeah, I'm sure that's part of what this is all about. So thank you, Mother Gaia, for bringing the Great Lakes to our attention.
Yes, I think that Will did bring water to our attention when he was on Mount Shasta as well.
Indeed.
Am I correct, Will?
Oh. Yes.
I like that. Thank you. That kind of gave that whole thing a kind of a new idea, a new twist.
Oh, we got to find somebody to get to Lake Huron too.
Well, we do have a lake here as well. It's called Flathead Lake. I don't know if anybody's really aware of that, but it is the biggest freshwater lake in the western part of the United States. So maybe I'll try to get up there.
That would be lovely. Wow, what a great idea. Well, then I guess we invite the entire world to find a lake near you, a river, any source of fresh water. That is one of the things that our extraterrestrial friends did talk about, as Bashar has mentioned before too, is the desalination would be beneficial to us. So let us all salute the fresh water.
Yes, and even if we can't make it there personally, it does count if we
Yes.
intend.
Oh,
as well.
absolutely.
Intend, and thank you for saying that.
Absolutely. Hey, Wendy, do you have a way to actually broadcast live from?
Well, I'm actually gonna try that because I am literally less than a mile as the crow flies to the lakefront itself, and I'm gonna go see if I'm gonna take a test drive down there and see if I mean it's literally 2 minutes from my house, not even. I'm gonna take a test drive and see if I can't get cell service down there, and if I can, and if I can get cell service down there, I'll just broadcast from down there.
Okay, well, it's going to eat your data.
Well, I know I'll turn on my local, I've got data, I've got a pretty good data plan now, I've changed my data, so I'll keep it short if I have to, that portion of it, I'll keep as short as I can, if, as far as my data will allow, let's just put it that way.
Right.
So yeah, but I'll check into the tech end of that and see how long I can go, so I don't just die in the middle of the process,
Right.
Yeah, I have a secret for you. You will magnificently, the Earth will provide you with a free hotspot.
Thank you. Yeah, the
Wi-Fi.
water, right?
Yes.
There you go, Gabe. The water will give me the extra power I need to to push my signal.
And
Well,
can
And
I
I got
ask,
some, I got some new friends too here. They will
Cute.
help
Nice.
you.
and can we
So-
ask Sarah,
Good.
where are you at that you could be blessing the waters?
Well, at that time, I would be in Prague.
There's a river in Prague.
Oh,
There
okay.
is.
There you go.
Yes. I don't know exactly where because Johannes is inviting me to go to his city. But if at all possible, I will be able to join and create a hangout from there.
Oh, that would be outstanding. Well, my idea, Gabe, is to start it. Hi, Sheldon. My idea was originally to start it at 11. My intent was 11:11 a.m. Central Standard Time, USA, on 11/11, and then actually it kind of blossomed into kind of an all-day. Let's just kind of do a whole 11/11 thing all day long, because I know Will would probably want to do the Holy Fire Hangout. Brian, I'm sure, will want to do a new moon thing. That was part of the shamanic message I got, was because of the new moon. So I think the idea has sort of blossomed into an all day wherever we can manifest a hangout, let's. So, and this whole fresh water thing just developed, and I really am enjoying this whole idea. I think it's beautiful. Thank you, Will. I love it.
Karen and I are also going to do a hangout on shifting timelines and how to shift your timeline. And Roy and I are trying to hook up together to get a hangout on how to raise your vibration.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure to ask Jim if he
All
wants
this is
to,
just so incredible, the intentions we have coming out.
I
right
know, and
now.
it was interesting how it all started, because I just got this idea in my head a few weeks ago, one of those, they came to me, if you will, and said, this is a day we would really like, to get out there and do something different and something new. It's a new beginning, and the first thing they said to me was, talk to Will and see about, and so the energy just built from there. And he was actually having a Holy Fire Hangout the day we originally began discussing it, and so it's just blossomed from there. So this whole thing today has just been magnificent for me. I love it.
Totally awesome. Thank you so much, Wendy.
No,
Yes,
thank you.
your
Wow,
enthusiasm.
that whole, and then the shifting timelines, that totally freaks me out, because I really had no idea that was part of the intention for the day, and that's precisely what happened to me during this hangout today. Is I literally shifted timelines. I mean, I was there. I was with them in these ceremonies around the fires, and I was literally just seeing myself as this sage, and I was inside their abode, and just people were coming to me. There was a fire burning inside of it, and just as a sage, and I had a book in my hand in my lap, and people were just coming to me for like these I don't know, wisdom and languages and something, I'm not even sure. And I was like, it was the whole scene just made me just weep in gratitude. It was amazing.
Wendy, you have the fire in you.
Well, and it's funny because, 11 is my number, and 1111, and my birth date equals 11. I've always known it was a master number, and my birthday is this month, in the 11th month. So, my whole birth date actually equals 11, and so this whole fire thing, I'm, Sagittarians are a fire sign, so it would stand to reason that this would all resonate so highly with me right now, and the whole galactic center and the Centaurian energy, and
You need to
there's
meet
just
my daughter. She's
Yeah,
also a
we-
Sagittarius, and she's
Woo!
also very much on fire right now.
Wow.
and when is the time for the 8 then? My number.
Well, and 8 is the infinite, so
Hey, you just had your number, boy.
you have to remember something, Gabe. Gabe, this whole year is your year because 2015 equals 8. And this is something that numerologically I'm reminded of on a regular basis to remind others is this is the year of infinite. Okay, let's talk about intention. This is the year where what you put your focus on and your intention will be the seeds for your infinite being. This is our time.
Yeah.
This is your time.
Yeah, you know what's really interesting, what's started happening recently? People starting calling me to get job interviews, and I'm not searching for jobs anywhere. I want a new job,
But you wanted a new job, and isn't it
and
interesting?
now it manifested so people
There you
call
go.
me,
And
I
you've
didn't do
got
anything.
You have job interviews. That's wonderful. What a great manifestation. That's great. Talk about intention.
But I didn't do anything. They are calling me.
That's what I
Suddenly.
mean. All you did was put the intention.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what it was, Gabe. You told everyone that was your intention. You put
Yeah.
it out there. I remember that day. That's wonderful, Gabe.
Yeah, but I have so many
That
friends.
is so exciting. Oh, wow. That's what you want is talk about a perfect intention of where you sit back and you say, all I want to do is sit back and wait for my phone to ring with just multiple job opportunities.
Yes.
I love
and
it.
You, and you just sit every day waiting for 11:11 to arrive on your clock. So you can type it in the chat.
It's so funny because I don't wait for it. It just happens. It's the most bizarre thing ever.
That's just it. Don't wait to set your intentions. Don't wait to decide where you want to be, what you want to do. Set your intentions on that and then move a little in that direction and you'll see what happens. It's incredible.
And when you follow the synchronicities in your life, that is what moves you in the right direction, and that's what tells you that when you look at the clock and it's 11:11 or 2:22 or whatever your number is, or that's telling you you're on the right track. To keep going in that direction.
Yeah, they're telling me something for you when you're doing the Reiki to the water. Like whenever you feel like when you do Reiki to water, you can just move your hands away from the water and connect to the ground and do Reiki to the entire planet, and then you move your arms toward yourself and do a blessing, and like a whole new Wendy arrives, like fully Reiki of your body as well. They're telling me to say that, so.
Well, I could feel it as you said it, so thank you for that awesome vibration.
Thank you, Gabe. That was
really cool.
I'm gonna ask you all for your energy.
You might find a stone in the water. Like I'm seeing a stone, you'll get.
Oh yes, this Lake Michigan shoreline is filled with stones, filled with them.
Yeah. So yeah, one you will take.
But I will. You're absolutely right. I will.
Stone.
Hey, you guys, Johannes had a request.
Yeah, go ahead, Johannes.
I wanted to ask you for your blessings. I just found out that I'm gonna be a father, so we're like in a month of pregnancy.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank
That's
you.
my
Yours,
manifestation.
this
Yeah,
child will be
wow.
Wonderful,
Now
Johannes.
that, my friends, is the epitome of manifestation and creation.
I'm
Beautiful.
asking for your blessings for
Liz.
the Creator, and that everything is gonna be.
Liatoyaha. I will be at the birth, my dear friend. I will be at the birth. Akianato
And
yukualaha. Nisiailu akataya maliasatayaha. Sonomalu akayo korakaya payalia satia nanano akakorahi. Liaka nina ninu akaipi akahi. Lisiana no asatoyo koaha liatoha. Miyayakasa. Siatoya. The ultimate celebration.
That
thank
was
you so much.
beautiful. Oh, so beautiful. Oh, you're going to have the most beautiful bliss, child.
Oh,
I feel that in my heart.
so beautiful.
Early
Natiala.
July.
Ashiato, you just filled the room with a wave of love and joy. Akiano no atiala iso soyukuahala tiana kuapayukuasaya.
Congratulations.
That's wonderful.
Absolutely amazing. Thanks for sharing that in the Holy Fire Hangout.
Actually, there is nothing,
My
absolutely
intuition
nothing
is
in the world more holy than a child.
You got it.
And he will be welcomed with open arms.
Yes.
And there's nothing more holy than all of us. We are all important.
Well said.
We are all children at heart, are we not? Mm-hmm.
Some of us forget. So I still think there's a couple people who haven't shared yet. Sarah, did you have anything to share from the meditation?
I did, but you know, the energy and the conversation was going on so well. I said, you know, maybe it's okay.
Well, it is for you, so you don't have to share.
I would love to share it though.
Okay.
Um, well, I just started feeling the energy of the holy fire, and I can feel it in my ears. Apparently, there's chakras in my ears, and I can viscerally feel them. And then in my third eye area and my frontal uh, lobes, my brain, and things of that nature, I was feeling energy all around. Then I had the thought of the moon, and I connected to the moon. Then I had the thought of the earth and connecting to the sun within the earth. Then I had the thought of connecting to the central sun, but I said, you know, I'm missing our sun. And so I said, okay, I'm going to imagine the sun within our earth spreading out throughout our solar system and connecting to our sun. And it shines so brightly. And then the sun within our earth connected to our sun. And then it took a straight shot into the galactic central sun. And so it was like this trinity of stars connecting to each other and shine so brightly. And I felt myself be standing between our earth and our sun. And the power of the fire of our sun shining through me to the earth, through back and forth through to the central sun. And the pulsating of energy um, being expelled throughout the galaxies. It was very beautiful.
Thanks for sharing, Sarah.
Thank
That was
you.
amazing. Exactly.
That was awesome. The central sun. I love that.
Yeah.
The holy fire.
So mine was weird. And by weird, I mean awesome. And I don't know what it means at all. So it was it was almost like I dropped out of my body and I went on an adventure. So I was flying, probably I think over an ancient, not ancient, but an old city, maybe like Paris. I was flying. It was really fun. Then somehow I ended up, you know, in the galaxy flying and painting in the black in the galaxy. And I was doing flips and turns and things with my body, and I was painting with light. And then somehow I was a god of sorts, like a statue, with kind of a Mana Picchu kind of step pyramid on my head, which was very heavy. I felt it it was very heavy. And the top of it, though, was like copper triangle. And then there were triangles, and then the heavy head opened up into just wide open, melding into like with the universe and the spaciousness. And that is all.
Yeah. And she says that so humbly, and that is all.
And that is all.
I'm sorry, that's all I got.
It was fun and also really real feeling. It was neato.
Totally cool. Thanks for sharing, Michelle. Did anyone else meditate and wish to share? All right, I'll share what I got. And this was just easier for me to put them in bullet point format. I got a download, basically. So we are vibrating all the time, and therefore creating and manifesting all the time, constantly. The law of attraction states that what you put out to the universe is what you get back. And you manifest through your mental body and then through your emotional body. And your mental body is always vibrating with conscious thought and unconscious thought. So that might explain earlier questions I had or statements that creation happens whether or not one intends it. And I believe I'm getting the hint that the conscious thought is where the intention comes from. And the unconscious thought is controlled by our belief systems, how we have ourselves programmed, which is how we think when we aren't thinking. So how one changes their belief system is now key to how you're vibrating and manifesting, since we're vibrating all the time and always creating. We keep mentioning or watch what you think, but it's not necessarily watch what you think, because that's your conscious thought. And even though we're consciously thinking all the time and consciously vibrating, we're also unconsciously vibrating. And our conscious thought goes through our unconscious thought and then pushed out to our emotional body. So how one changes our belief systems, which is how one changes our unconscious thought, is the key. And there are stages of the unconscious mind, or belief systems in the unconscious mind, when we are trying to use intention to manifest. Welcome, Brian. So these stages are, there's total disbelief on what we're trying to accomplish, and therefore that's the opposite vibration of whatever you're intending, so therefore nothing goes out to the emotional body. You ain't getting it. It's as simple as that. Then there's, I highly doubt this is going to happen, but I'm still going to try. And that lowers the vibration of the intention coming from the conscious mind. There's, I hope it works, but we'll see. I'll try. And that also lowers the vibration of your intention going out to the emotional body. And then you have belief in it, which is more than hope, and it's less than knowing. And the highest state of your unconscious mind is just knowing that it's going to happen. There's zero doubt. The full power of your intention comes into your unconscious mind and then out through your emotional body, and there's zero filtering. So that's where the possibility of instantaneous manifestation happens. Now your mental and emotional bodies are independent systems that work the same way but take different inputs. A lot of times we think that the emotional body is linked to the mental body, and we want to blame the emotional body. I'm not in a good mood, so therefore I'm not manifesting things. You can decide to be in a good mood. You can be grateful, which is another way to raise your vibration, which is your emotional body. So you don't have to keep them linked or tied to each other. You can decide and just vibrate in your emotional body, and that way whatever comes through your conscious mind, through your unconscious mind, out to your emotional body, now you get to actually amplify it, because your emotional body amplifies or de-amplifies, reduces the vibration going out that you're trying to manifest. And your emotional body is being linked to the mental body. The fact that they're linked, well, it's not a fact, it's a belief, and it's part of your belief system. So they can be and actually are independent. You just decide that they're independent, and guess what? That's now another belief system. It's another idea. And they are independent. And so now, therefore, you don't have to think about being in a joyful state. You can just be in a joyful state, and then what you manifest is just, bam. So if you're in a knowing state and you decide to manifest something and you're in a joyful state or a peace state, then it's coming to you. It's as simple as that. I think I stated this earlier. The emotional body amplifies what the mental body is producing. And what leaves the emotional body is what's given to the universe via the law of attraction. And what is received by the emotional body is received from the law of attraction. An interesting point that I didn't think of before is this: although we're getting this vibration through our emotional body, our mental body, both the subconscious and the conscious mind, are then interpreting what is being received through the emotional body. And therefore it has the ability to lower its vibration and cause it to not come to us, or causing us to not see it in our reality, although it's in our reality, because our belief system frame our reality, not necessarily create our reality. It frames it, because that energy is already around us. And whether we see it, if it's in our frame or in our viewpoint or in our awareness, which is an interesting word, then we can decide whether we see it or not. So to me, that was just amazing that I got all that information during that meditation.
Yeah, like so amazing. I have to go back and listen to it 5 times now.
Exactly. I could write a whole book on that topic now.
Wow. Isn't it amazing how all of that information can come in what we perceive as such a short amount of time? And that's probably still only a fraction, of what you really got, because that's just the part you can explain.
And also like when we believe in something, like we manifested something, we sometimes usually like want to know the reason exactly why we manifested things, and check out like, oh, the reason why that happened because that happened. But now we realize we can just trust that it's going to work out, and it works out the best way, and you don't have to go into detail why and how it happened. Really, just be grateful for it happening. Like with my job things. Like if I go back, I see like I changed a setting in LinkedIn, but I know in a sense I manifested it for myself.
Yes.
Yeah, I would also say be careful about thinking why something negative happened, because I think I have done this recently where it brings you to a different state of being, a different vibration, not a preferable vibration. But thinking, what is it about you that attracted that, and keep going over that idea. So that's a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe the non-attachment helps us get to the knowing state and past the hope state. And also what Michelle said, that not keeping track of or not overanalyzing what we're manifesting or what isn't being manifested is helping us or causing us not to be in the knowing state, causing us to drop down that, or causing us to link back to our emotional state and drop down in our emotional state and just not stay in the bliss.
Can I ask a question, Will?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you believe our emotional state comes from like our upper heart or our heart brain?
What's a heart brain?
Well, I've heard that, like, and I know this for a fact now because a child was just born with no brain in his head, but his heart's still beating, and his parents plan on keeping him and giving him some kind of life, I guess. You can be alive without your brain in your head, but you can't be alive without your heart. And your upper heart, from what I'm told, is your heart brain. I'm thinking now where emotion comes from. I'm just asking Will if he agrees or not.
I did not get a yes or a no on that.
I've been channeling a lot of information about it's time for us to fully connect our soul to our body, and our heart and our brain have been at war, and we've been taught that we have to use our brain in a way that it's not really designed to, just allow the brain to work as it's supposed to work instead of forcing it to worry about things it's not really designed to worry about, because it's
more designed to be our computer, right?
Yeah, our heart and our brain are connected, but we teach our brain to think that it's at war with the heart, but it's not at war with the heart, really.
Well,
can I rephrase this? When you have
before your brain, the heart knows the answer. Like scientific studies have shown that your heart knows the answer before, electrically, like speaking, before your mind knows what it is.
Yes, that's what I mean by your heart brain. That's exactly what I mean by your heart brain. like the feelings you get too, like your intuition feelings you get when you feel that, it's not like really in your head. You're feeling it with your heart. That energy. Let's see, another way to explain it might be
you feel it through your entire body. That's how I feel it. Like I connect.
Well, I feel like that might be part of what my mother's issue is right now with her heart. Like she's really afraid to die. Okay. She's had a lot of family members die recently, and all from heart issues. And now she has herself in the belief that she's going to too. And with that comes this irregular heartbeat. But the upper part of her heart is beating faster than the lower part of her heart because she's so scared. That's how I feel about that. It's just like she's brought that right into her heart.
That's correct. And you know, I like that Will, what you said with respect to exactly this is about the beliefs creating the intentions that we don't of the when it turns out to be something we don't want. It's the belief that creates the actual, that manifests the actual creation, like you just said, because she believes it, therefore it is so.
Yes. So what I got when you were talking, Val,
Yeah.
was that what you call the heart brain, that's being in the vortex or being aligned with your highest good, which is being connected to the holy fire. It's the emotional body receiving the input and it knowing what to do without any filter, without your subconscious mind taking care of it or your conscious mind taking care of it. The emotional body already has the information. It just got it instantaneously from the universe. So it knows the answer.
That's kind of how I run my life now. It's like how my heart feels is what's good. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it tells me what's good and what isn't so good, and what people are okay to be around and what people aren't. Maybe they might be okay to be around, but maybe not okay to discuss my thoughts or feelings with. Put it that way, not bring them in that close, if that makes sense. Some people are okay. You just have to keep them at a little bit of a distance because they're just not quite there yet. They're still they could still be dangerous to you and your psyche. So in that respect, it's better for you to keep your distance. If that makes sense. It's not really like saying you're better than them or anything like that. It's saying they're on a different playing field than you are.
Well, they are technically because they have their own reality. They're framing their own reality differently with their conscious mind and their subconscious mind and their emotional body.
Yeah, just like my mother is right now.
Right.
So, but in her respect, I'm trying to reach to her to take some of that, or not take it away, but try to get her to see things in just a little different light that might help her to relax more into the fact that things are going to happen the way they're supposed to happen. She doesn't have to have so much fear about that. Okay,
Well
that makes
said.
sense.
Why don't you offer her Reiki?
I've tried.
Okay.
She said when she's ready, she'll ask.
Well, you could just say that, hey, Mom, why don't I just put my hands on you while we chat? And we can chat and we'll just allow Reiki to flow through. You can
Well,
talk about anything.
you see, I mean, we just barely made up. Like, our first hugs just happened not very long ago.
But
So,
you hugged.
yes, and that's wonderful because that's the first hug I can ever remember getting from my mother, ever in
Okay.
my life. So that was quite different for me and an emotional thing for my heart to go through for sure. But it also allowed me to open up a little bit more to her and allowed her in, even though I've considered her to be somewhat dangerous in the past to my psyche.
Mm-hmm.
She is trying, so I'm willing to try too. And I have offered her this form of healing, and she said she'll let me know when she's ready.
Awesome.
So it's something that she's thinking about, and knowing her personality, I know that's something she's going to have to research and see what it is before she allows it. So
Exactly.
I'll just be patient about it.
Perfect. Perfect. And might I offer a suggestion that when you give her Reiki eventually, that you don't set your intention to heal her. If you set your intention that Reiki is sent for her highest good, then you won't set your expectations on her feeling better or getting healed or anything like that, because maybe her highest good is something else.
Yes, that's a great way to go at it because I was a little unsure of that too and wanted to make sure that in this case the distance was still kept, if you know what I mean,
Right.
because I know that I have a tendency to absorb other people's emotions, thoughts, feelings, even sometimes their pains or things that I may even think are giving them pain. I made myself sick over Phil drinking Diet Coke. Like, I could not stand the fact that he was drinking this Diet Coke, and I literally made myself sick over it. So I know I have that capability. So I have to like remember to keep my distance at the same time, bringing in all the love of the universe. You know, like remaining a neutral party that's just a conduit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're the conduit.
Hmm.
And remember, after you give a treatment, though, you go through Kenyokuho, and that you disconnect and you dry bathe, okay? And you
Right.
send all that energy to the earth.
Hmm.
And that
Yeah.
way you won't retain it. And if you know you are a conduit for the Reiki, then none of that is going to come back to you. And that way you know that Reiki's taking care of it, because Reiki goes where it needs to go and does what it needs to do.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to the opportunity. When it happens, it'll be the right time. I go with the flow.
Totally cool.
Thank you
Totally
so
cool.
much.
Oh, thank you. So
That
does
brings
anyone
up a
else?
question, Will. Actually, I
ahead.
had a question regarding that. What Val just said about it just brought up a question about the intention of when does your intention how does our intention overlap with someone else's intention? For example, in the idea of healing, you know, sometimes we send healing to a person who feels they are, or who says they're asking for healing yet, or sometimes we send the intention of healing for someone who hasn't asked for healing. And yet, at what point does their intention to go through this creation for themselves to learn what they have to learn? You know, sometimes I wonder, are we doing another person a disservice sometimes by intending something for that's our idea rather than saying the intention of for their highest good? Because maybe their highest good isn't necessarily what would be our intention.
Not that powerful.
You don't think intention is that powerful?
No, I think us as human beings, like we cannot override somebody's higher self. Like
Oh
I don't.
no, you can't. That's the whole point. Is
So if they
nor
don't,
their will.
yeah, if their higher self knows that's not in their best interest, then they maybe
Exactly. And but you know,
if they,
sometimes out of our own good intentions, we send somebody something that maybe they didn't ask for because it's what we want. We want them to hang around a little while longer, or we want them to discover their own light and fire within them, or it's our intention, our idea that they go through this ascension maybe the way we want them to because it makes us feel better, and maybe that's not their highest good.
well, that's not about their higher self is the one to make that decision, not.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I'm just stating that's exactly what I'm saying. That's their. I'm just speaking from my own experience. Sometimes I've been disappointed where I've sent an intention, and if they didn't receive or react in a certain way that maybe I thought was their highest good, it makes us sit back and realize that sometimes their creation, their discovery isn't the way we want it to be.
I think that then you're putting your own expectations.
Yes, exactly.
Out
That's
there.
exactly my point. Yes,
And
we
when
put
you're
our own
healing,
expectations.
when you're healing, there cannot be expectation. As I
Correct.
stated, you have to only be the conduit. You know?
You can have expectation because that's a feeling you can have, but the thing is that when you force the expectation, like really it has to happen this way, you can be excited, be with expectation. You don't have to make it negative. As soon as you make the negative, you kind of get that negative experience. That's what I understand.
I
It's
think
your
it's one of those
intention.
things, especially with healing, that you have to kind of, again, let go and let God. Because when you're doing Reiki especially, you can't get emotionally involved. Because if you do,
It's
what's
not
that?
about us as healers. It's about the holy fire doing its job.
Yes.
Like, it's completely, like, I have no, that's why, where my teachers taught me, we are a hollow bone. That is all we are. We are a hollow bone. We are a conduit for this energy. And regardless, holy fire is smart. Reiki is smart. It knows where to go and what to do, and we have no, other than being the provider for it, the conduit for it, that is like literally it. And getting ego mixed up in that is probably potentially self-harmful.
Exactly. And you and Alexandria, Max, there's Jim. There's so many wonderful Reiki teachers in our group that I have really listened to, and every single one says that exact same thing, Michelle. So, I mean, I've heard it from all the wonderful voices that can possibly speak to me, and then from my own intuition telling me this is right. That, yeah, as long as you're just the conduit, you remove yourself from the emotional part of it. But what I was trying to say with my mother is that's a little bit of a step for me because of our past relationship and all these kinds of things. So there is a lot of emotion tied with us to begin with. So for me, a little time for her to decide is a good thing because it also gives me the time to meditate and ask for that ability to just be the conduit. So thanks, Michelle, for clearing that up once again, because you're one of the better ones as well.
I'm blushing.
I love it because I didn't have to say a thing during that whole conversation.
I know, I felt so bad, Will. I'm sorry.
No, it's perfect because that means that Reiki
Teacher
way
has
is
taught.
infiltrating everything, which is good.
Like I say, the teacher has taught. We're learning.
Exactly. And this isn't here for me to preach. This is here so we can talk about different topics and do a holy fire meditation experience and share information. That's what we're doing.
I personally love the way you teach, Will. And, it does involve a lot of other people teaching us too and listening to their points of view, opening your mind, opening your heart to what resonates with you. And it makes it so much easier for me to learn. So I for one, really appreciate this format.
You're absolutely welcome. Everyone has free will.
Oh my God, a total aside, but real quick. Is Sarah still here?
No, Sarah left a while ago.
I gave Brooke Reiki today, and I was toning while I was doing it. Not really of my own free will, just saying. Okay, that's all.
All right.
I mean, it was my free will. It was my body was making me do it.
Yeah. That's very
That's
cool.
really cool. I think, again, that's that connection that, it's not really like you're using your emotional connection with her, but you're not really completely separating it by bringing that toning in. Because what would a mother do more than to soothe her child, more than to bring that toning in?
Soothing, exactly, but it was loud.
But it soothes a part of her because you innately know that.
Actually, she could feel it. It was really cool.
Yeah, my ego steps in and quiets down my toning when I'm doing it.
Yeah, sometimes it can get pretty loud in here.
I'm thinking my neighbors would probably have to step in. My voice really carries.
Yeah, so does mine. I usually close the windows. If I'm going to do any loud toning inside my, well, I don't do it outside for that reason, unless I'm far, far away.
Yeah. I thought it was so funny. I was like, "What is this?" And then I was like, "Well, at least she's your daughter and not a client."
Well, it's funny that Sarah's not here because she'll be the first to tell you it used to bother her, and she would close all the windows, and now she doesn't care. She's like, I don't care anymore. I leave all the windows open. I don't care if my neighbors hear me.
Well, heck, now she doesn't care. She's doing it at the pub.
Exactly.
That's why she's not coming to my mother's place this weekend.
Why? Because she's toning?
It will be crazy. My whole neighborhood will hear it.
Or because you don't. Oh, because so you don't want her to tone at your house. I get it.
It sounds like it's time for a neighborhood block party for you, Gabe. Toning party.
Hey, maybe we could have a toning meditation on next Wednesday, 11 a.m.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's definitely going to be some toning going on.
Nice. So I hate to be a buzzkill here, but we've been going on 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I have some 3D things I need to do. So would anyone like to do a blessing? I see many people who want to do a blessing.
Turaka siarka tuori sika tuora siaka raka tuuta sika urasaka. We love you, smile, Will. Sakara tika sakara kayara tuora karahi sikreuta sikara tata yara kuasia. Just keep smiling. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaste, Gabe.
Namaste, Gabe. Anyone else?
Hakuna Matata to everybody. It means no worries for the rest of your days.
Wendy, you must have a blessing in there.
Oh, you know they're here. They're ready and waiting. I just wanted to make sure there was nobody else. I don't want to jump in if somebody else wants to go. Okay, here we go. Nila katoyo mala esasiana nakua kalakorahi. Niliki sotolo akashiha, lano mala kurakiha. Lako kuakayu kuasaya la siha toyokomaha. Li te yakau sora kashia kaliada yina nako. Molu kuasataya aliesa. Nino malu akatia la kasayo rahisa. Sono malu akaka ruso yakaila ina. La kua paya la kuasaya kuakiha. No luasaya atu. Payumala sieto yokurashia yani ananako kurahi. Matua asailu hasiniana. Solo kuasaya kuahila nina. Makura kilia todo kuashia kahila ya todoa. Sietoya kahila ya sanonoa kakayu. Malua kasia todo hasia toyo. The holy fire burns brightly and deeply within you. It stirs your emotions, it stirs your activities, it stirs the burning desires within you that propel the rockets of your desires, that send you into the light of your eternal flame. It sends you to the timelessness of your being. When you feel the holy fire light within you, it shows you the part of you that is the light that burns in eternity throughout timelessness. Carry it as a torch, as it's a torch that burns within you all the time. Bring it with you wherever you are. With intention. Namaste.
Namaste. Deepest gratitude.
Namaste.
Before she started speaking, they were singing. I heard singing. It stopped. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Nisiato, yes. Yes, they are singing.
Just sing out. Tuuri na 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 siranga na gara singanga kurana sirakana. Yeah, they are singing.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Wendy. Zach, I sent something.
Oh, you're funny.
I love you, man.
I was waiting for Zach, and I was waiting for him to speak up. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go. Go ahead, Zach.
All right. Mantu asin kushnita lasu atin ta shunkinto shnita. Wantu asin kutishnatu nafwasin tushni wan kushni wasa. Tunshin wan kushni tushna fwal unshin tula fwala sinkutu unfur rafala sinkunta la fal wan tinshin tala sinkunta la dur. Wan tushin kwa la fa sin tula sin tu kwa tala sin tushna pala fala sin kwa la fa sin tushna pala tu kwa la fala sin kushna pita la fala kul kula fala sin tushna pala tuala fal kwa tala sin sin tula fal kin sin tushna pal wa tala puf Oshne kwala fala sin tushna la pala sol. Namaste.
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 Oh,
I did something. Don't know what that was.
There was awesomeness.
That's what it was. Awesomeness.
And the universe just got more awesome.
I was trying to get a translation. Isitianaka. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't. I don't want to paraphrase. Sorry.
Yeah, that song was different, Zach, than the one you sang last week.
oh yeah, very different.
Right.
Yeah.
It was celebratory, but also informative. But the wording afterwards was definitely information. Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, I got it vibrationally, just didn't get a. Anyone else?
I
Michelle,
did
are
get.
you trying to?
Go ahead, Zach.
I was just gonna say I kind of gotten a little bit of interpretation. Oh, yeah, I'll write it down.
Okay. So I was going to thank everyone for attending. Oh, Michelle, do you want to do one?
I don't want to do one, but I do want to ask that somebody PM me the interpretation. I'm on my phone, so I don't have the side chat.
Gotcha.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
Just that every time I join the Holy Fire, I get like all this channeling information and all this stuff. Like, is so more awakening within myself for some reason. And I don't even like. I'm not here to do the meditation because when I arrived, I already done the meditation with it myself, so I don't need to do the meditation with you guys. That's how it feels.
Hey, whatever you need.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the Holy Fire is everybody gets what they need. Exactly what you need in this now. So thank you all for joining us for the Holy Fire Hangout on Intention. And remember, you are unlimited. You're divine. Just be awesome right now. All right. Thanks for joining. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Will.
Thank
Yes,
you, Will.
namaste. Thanks, Will.